Hey guys, it's been a little while since we've done a car of the day, and somebody sent me this chrome wrapped Aston Martin Vantage. So I thought it'd be cool to share alongside of a couple other vandalized cars at the Copart auction with you guys. Now, if you find anything crazy like this, unique, anything that's got a story to tell, it doesn't have to be in the Copart auctions, it could be on Craigslist or just out in the world somewhere else. Be sure to email me, samcrackauto@gmail.com. And without further ado, let's talk about this 2009 Aston Martin V8 Vantage. If we look here, it's got the designation that it starts only, so they didn't say that this car ran or drove. It does say that it has a secondary damage being mechanical. Could have something to do with that. We don't really know, and for the sake of this video, we don't really care. But the document type is a permit, no brand, unfit, and that's really strange lingo, and that's because this car is located at a Copart in Toronto. So I think that all of this means when I see the word unfit and I see the word brand, when we talk about branded titles here in America, branded title is usually a salvage title. Unfit probably means unfit for the road. So this is some sort of Canadian salvage title, something that likely would be able to pass an inspection, be able to be road legal again, at least here in America. When we open up these photos, we can see that it's got that beautiful, and I'm being facetious, chrome wrap, like turquoise color. It's actually kind of neat, but definitely not my style, especially not on a nice car like this. And when I say chrome, not the entire car is chrome, but it is a chrome-based wrap. So that means all of the wrap is reflective. We can see that the front headlights have been smashed out on both sides. So that's where our vandalism starts. Otherwise, at a 10-foot distance like we're seeing in these photos, it looks pretty decent. It does look like Jasmine Sullivan got to the rear hatch of the car here. I bust the windows out your car. And if we keep going around, I mean, the interior looks really great and awesome shape, and the engine bay looks good too, with only 48,222 kilometers on it. Now, this is the photo which lets us know that if you get real close to the car, someone's carved some, looks like letters into this car. I see AS. I see maybe the letter X or something else here. You guys let me know if you can read what it says. I can't personally. And this photo right here just showing the door jamb lets us know that this car was not wrapped by RDB, as they didn't go as far as to wrap inside the door jambs. Now this Aston Martin was sent in to me by a viewer named Nick, who let me know that it sold for right around $21,000 Canadian, which is right around $27,000 US, I'm pretty sure. And that's a fairly good deal for a car that has really just been vandalized. It comes down to how bad that mechanical damage is. Now this car, like I said, has been sold in this condition. However, someone has went and they replaced the wrap. It also appeared that they replaced those two front headlights, increasing the value of this car likely a lot because that wrap was definitely taken away from the car. And the other thing is, even though that chrome wrap is expensive, by the time we peel it off, a lot of that vandalism to the car itself likely is not going to show up underneath. I mean, it depends. Depends how hard the person was, whatever they were carving into the side of the car is. 48,222 kilometers. Unfit, permit, no brand. This is the same exact car. Who knows if the seller is different or the same, but if we get a closer up look, we can see that there actually might be some minor body damage, maybe a few creases here on the hood. Definitely the emblem is missing. That's pretty usual when someone's wrapping a car, they remove those. We still have the busted out rear window. Why they didn't fix that? Well, it's likely because those are actually really expensive. A windshield on Aston Martin is upwards of $3,000-$4,000, so I'd imagine the rear glass is about the same. I do see a few dents here in the rear quarter panel. And otherwise, the car looks the same except for this massive muddy footprint. It reminds me of that Dave Chappelle skit with Rick James.
Why don't I stretch out? Fuck your couch, nigga. Buy another one, you rich motherfucker. Your couch, fuck your couch.
Anyway, the rest of the car is here, and my guess is that now that the car runs and drives according to its Copart designation right here, this R, someone is likely flipping it, or they went ahead and improved the car to sell it for a little bit more money. So we can expect this 17,600 number to exceed the 21,000 number Canadian. At least that would be my best guess. Now this car is currently for sale. I will link all the cars that I showed today in the description box below if you're interested in following along at home. The next car is a car that we featured on my most recent Copart tutorial, and I've got the original listing here for you guys to see. This is a car that was totaled out by the insurance company. It has a salvage certificate, and from its first photo, it's absolutely amazing to think that this near $200,000 Audi R8 V10 Plus was totaled out due to a little bit of vandalism, but it's more than just a little bit. I'm going to try and zoom in here because in some clear photos, I noticed what appeared to possibly be a key mark on the hood and possibly a few down the side. Now, I'm not positive. I am just looking at these on my computer screen and showing you guys the same thing I see. And when we go down to the next photo, we can see someone actually did spray paint the exterior of this car. And wait, it gets much worse than this. But usually spray paint on top of a factory clear coat is relatively simple to remove depending on what they use. You get a cutting pad and some polishing compound and a little bit of heat generated by a buffer will just remove that spray paint entirely. From this angle, we can see that the spray paint goes all along the side of the car. And again, we're not super up close, so if there's any fine scratches or damage, we're likely not going to see them. And if there are scratches or damage and they vandalize this car, I mean, right here looks like there's a scratch. Likely the entire car needs to be repainted. This is a nice car with a really nice paint finish. So right there, you're talking about several $1,000s just to restore the outside condition of this car. When we get in the interior, that's where this car is an absolute disaster. The leather seats have been ripped. The interior has been completely spray painted over. It looks like they damaged the shifter here. They might have damaged the air vent. And when we go down, we see more spray paint. Another Jasmine Sullivan special here with a busted out window. I bust the windows out your car. There must have been some paint sprayed over the rear window here. And this is the dashboard. Your digital dash has been hammered on or just beat up because it's not even operable anymore. And here are a couple scratches right here on carbon fiber. This is the sort of stuff that gets really expensive to replace. They also might have had and maliciously went and stuck something down the gas tank, seeing that the gas door is completely ripped open and the gas cap is missing in this car. Checking out the lot details, they couldn't get an odometer reading because the odometer, of course, isn't working. It's an enhanced vehicle, meaning it doesn't run or drive nor start. And this car was sold a little bit over $70,000 US, considering that this car's estimated retail value of $191,000. That's a new price. That's pretty insane to think that $100,000 of value has been diminished from this car when, I gotta be honest, I think if you even took this to a professional shop to get everything repaired, it wouldn't exceed $100,000. I think it would exceed 20, 30, no, real high end, maybe $40,000. But I think $30,000 is about the sweet spot. But here is the car, again for sale, relisted by a dealership, goes by the name of UFI. They are offering it for sale for $105,000. That's over $30,000 more than they paid for it. And at closer glance, they didn't do a whole lot, but maybe polish the exterior. I would assume that if there were scratches in it, maybe they went ahead and repainted it. We can't really tell from these photos, but again, they likely just minimized things, and well, that definitely adds some value to the car. If we go down and look, they've replaced the gas cap here. They've cleaned the spray paint off the car and also all the spray paint in the interior. However, all the cuts still exist on the dashboard. All the cuts still exist on the leather seat. They've definitely repaired the shifter. This air vent might or might not have been damaged. The digital dash here is still damaged, but they have got the car running and driving, as we can see from here. It's just amazing to think that a little bit of cleanup and they're already offering the car for sale for a substantial amount more than they paid for it. That's totally okay. You can see that there's a make offer button here. Of course, they're probably not going to get the full $105,000. And of course, they've got fees to pay for listing the car through Copart. Anyway, just goes to show you another side of the business that can be had buying and reselling salvage cars, especially exotic ones. Now, when it comes to this 2009 Mercedes C300, the paint on the exterior again would make this a good restoration project for one of you guys at home. Again, a buffing pad, a little bit of rubbing compound, and likely the graffiti on the outside of this car would come off. But the unfortunate part of this car is a theme that we're going to see consistently in this video, and that is that somebody again decided to throw a bunch of paint in the interior of the car. Now, we saw that on the Audi here that they were able to remove the paint from the interior of the car. And on an older car like this Mercedes, it wouldn't bother me to try with some acetone or something. You really got nothing to lose at this point. Worst case scenario, if you need a few interior trim pieces, what I would do is go online, find the nearest parts recycler that has one of these cars, and make a deal on the entire interior, from the seats down to the carpet, the glove box, everything. And likely they'll cut you a deal for under $1,000 an entire interior. Once this car is cleaned up, you've got, well, a higher mileage, 141,000 mile Mercedes that just needed a little bit of your time. I'm not going to pretend like it's not going to take a good amount of time to clean this car, but you can understand how they would total this car out due to all the graffiti everywhere. Our last car is this 2007 Dodge Charger SRT8. I went ahead and blurred the obscenity on the hood, but if you're wondering what it says, you can always just check the link in the description box below, or I'll just let you know that it's basically the same thing as saying Joe Budden. So anyway, this car's got 115,000 actual miles. It's got a 6.1 liter Hemi. These cars have over 400 horsepower, and this specific one, with the vandalism damage, sold right around $3,000, which is an absolute steal. Now, if we take a closer look at the photos, besides that obscenity spray painted on the hood, we have smashed out front windows, but from 10 feet away, again, the body's not terrible. And if you wanted to go to a cheap paint shop, get the entire outside restored, wouldn't be but a couple $100 on an older car like this would be worth it. Here is where it looks terrible. It looks like someone just took a gallon of paint and dumped it all over that front seat. It's really unbelievable. I hear a lot about people keying cars, but maybe it's become a trend that people are smashing windows and just dumping a gallon of paint in the car. At least on this car, the majority of this paint is contained in this seat right here. I would think you'd probably have to replace this seat at that point. It does look like a little bit of it got to the back seat. Maybe they smashed this window too. But a little bit of work. Again, this is a pretty common car. You could grab some windows off of a regular Charger at your local parts recycling facility, and a little bit of refurbishing gets you an SRT8 Charger. This specific one with this damage was $3,000, which is not a bad deal. Now, there's a bunch of these vandalized cars on Copart, new ones coming all the time. Like I said, if you see anything interesting, definitely let me know. samcrackauto@gmail.com. But you go to the vehicle finder and you just go down to the damage type, and you can search specifically by the type of damage. What I did here to find those other cars, I just went and looked at vandalism, and I picked out specific cars that I like for this video. So guys, if you enjoyed this one, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Any questions, you know how to contact me. Everything to do so is in the description box below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you very soon.